Yo, what's good? So after last video, a ton of people have been asking me about my damage build, like including artifacts, like what traits, what stuff am I using. And low-key, I was not planning on making a video because there's just so many people who already made a video on it. But I mean, if y'all are asking, then I guess I can make one. So I'll go over artifacts and what actual like artifacts build you should go for. And I'll go over titles, I'll go over everything basically, even some stuff that most people actually tend to forget. If this does help you out or you find it entertaining in any way, I'd very much appreciate it if you can like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And without further ado, let me just get straight into it. Alright, so first I'll start off with the very simple stuff that's easy to explain, and then I'll move on to something more complicated as I go. So first I'll start off with races. So races are like the base of your damage. For example, the best races as of right now, they're definitely going to get power crept like next update or the update after that. But as of right now, Sunborn race is the best race for sword damage, and Servant race is the best race for melee damage. Oni is close behind in terms of melee, and Slime is for sword. And to actually spin for them, you're basically going to use race rerolls. So I'm not going to spin off my Kitsune, but when you click on it, you can use them, and they're all mythic races, so good luck actually obtaining them. The other thing I will be talking about is going to be titles. So titles, same thing as races. They can get power crept, especially every update. But nowadays, every update launches like a brand new title, which is better than the last. And in this update, the best title is going to be the one. Me personally, I'm not gonna obtain it since it's just a little too grindy for me. But you can. It drops from the Escanor boss. I already made a video on that, so if you want that, if you want to check that out. And yeah, just like titles overall give a pretty crazy damage buff. And next I will be talking about clans. So clans, same thing as races. You can spin for them using clan rerolls, which you'll find right here. They're a legendary item, and you can get them from basically any NPC or boss they have a chance to drop. I don't know about bosses actually. No, actually bosses don't drop them, so just NPCs. But yeah, they're pretty rare, so don't expect to get as many trait rerolls and race rerolls like clans. So these ones are a little harder to get. So basically, when you spin, the clans you're gonna want to go for are all legendary clans. So we have the Voldigoat clan, which is the best clan for melee, and the Pride clan, which is the best clan for sword. For Monarch in my opinion is pretty close behind for Pride clan. But it is very good in terms of luck because of the 20% chance to get an extra item. But yeah, in terms of damage, it's not really anything crazy. So basically, that's all for clans. And now for something that, believe it or not, most people actually tend to forget. Like, some people don't even know this exists. And that is going to be stat rerolls. So stat rerolls, you can spin for your stats right here. And you're using 500 gems to spin everything, or 1000 gems to spin a specific category. The pity right here is guaranteed double S trait or double S stat, and for triple S, it is not like it does not have a pity, so you're just gonna have to gamble. Most people get it within 1 million, and that might sound like a lot, but I mean, actually it is a lot. Never mind. And last thing I need to talk about in this island is going to be traits. So traits you can get from the traits NPC right here. So if you go to the index, you'll see every single trait and what buff it actually gives. For the best traits, Celestial is the best trait as of right now, just in terms of damage. If you think about it, it is kind of even with Singularity because this one gives more HP. But let's be honest, nobody cares about HP nowadays. So basically 2.2x damage and minus 30% cooldown. But yeah, basically that's gonna be all for the stuff in this island. Now we'll move on to the next. Alright, so now I'm in Snow Island, and there are two things I need to cover in this island, and the first one is going to be Haki. So Haki, some people don't know how to actually obtain it, so I'll go over that real quick. So to actually get it, you just go at the very back of the island and you'll find the Haki trainer NPC, aka Rayleigh. And when you speak to him, of course I already have it, but when you speak to him, he's going to give you a little bit of a tedious quest. Nothing crazy compared to what you're actually going to have to do later on. But once you complete the quest, you're going to be able to equip your Haki, which you can press the G key. And for your information, Haki can be leveled up. To actually look at your Haki level, you go to your stats and click on the little question mark. And to level up your Haki quickly, you're basically just going to use Haki. and kill any NPC. This can be like the searcher NPCs, the endgame NPCs. Like the XP does not change. Each NPC you kill gives you 1. So yeah, basically you can AFK anything and anywhere. Alright, next thing I need to cover is artifacts. So artifacts are a little complicated, so I'll strap in a little here. And for artifacts, first I'll show you my stats. So my stats are 56.3% crit chance, 163.3% crit damage, and 83.1% damage. So these, you're gonna want to get something like this, high crit damage, something near 50% to 60% crit chance, and above 80, hell, I would say above 75% damage. Anything like that would actually be decent. And of course, it depends on your luck. So for example, I'll go over each individual piece and I'll explain what you're gonna actually what you're actually gonna want to get on them. So first, starting off with helmets. So helmets, usually helmets give you 2 stats, which are 2 damaging stats. So for example, crit damage and damage, or some can give you crit chance, damage, or crit chance and crit damage. But the helmets you're actually gonna wanna go for are helmets that give triple damage stats. So for example, this one right here, and this is like the only one I got. So the stats on it are not really anything crazy, but this is the only one I got. So crit chance, crit damage, and damage. I have 7.1% for damage, 11.3% for crit damage, and 9.8% for crit chance. So I've seen people that have 16.3% crit damage and 8% damage and like 9% crit chance. So yeah, you can get, it depends on your luck really. It's like another form of gambling, but disguised as evolving stuff. Next, I'll move on to gloves. And gloves, basically, for their main stat, they always give damage. I think I forgot to say that about helmets. So helmets, their main stat always gives either HP percentage or, where is it, the other one? Holy, I can't find the single. Alright, so it gives either flat HP or HP percent. HP percent does give higher HP, but nobody cares. Like, you're just mainly gonna want to go for, like, triple damage stats. So, as I was saying, for gloves, you're gonna want to go for high crit damage and high crit chance, because the main stat is damage, so you won't be able to get that in your substats. But the best I have gotten it was 10.3% for crit chance and 16.7% for crit damage. Of course, I will be upgrading all of these to actually see if I can get anything better. For chest plate, see, chest plate is a little of a debate. Some people think that like, where is it, damage chest plates are the best. Some people think crit chance is the best, but actually crit damage is the best chest plate, because like, it doesn't matter if you crit if your crit damage is not that high. So basically, you're just gonna want to crank up that crit damage using chest plates. So for me, my crit damage chest plate has 8.2% crit chance and 5.2% damage, which is like genuinely bad. Like, do not take this as an example. You should probably go for something way higher than this. Like, the average I see is like 8% damage and like 10.1% crit chance, but it depends on your luck yet again. And moving on to boots, see, with boots, there is most boots actually give either HP, like flat out HP, or HP percent. I won't be searching for it, like, it's just, alright, here it is, HP percent. But the boots you're gonna want to go for are boots that have a main damage stat, so you can actually obtain these. They are a little rarer than normal boots, so you're gonna have to grind a little for that. And basically, once you get them, same thing as gloves, you're gonna want to go for a high crit damage and high crit chance boot. So this is the best I have gotten them, 8.3% or 8% crit chance and 13.1% crit damage. So to actually upgrade your artifact though, for the people who don't know, so each artifact you sell gives you dust, which you can use. For example, if I click on this random level 0 artifact here, I have 50,000 dust, and each artifact you sell gives you a certain amount of dust. Of course, the higher the rarity, the more dust you will actually gain. And to max out a legendary artifact, you will need 287, because legendary artifacts go up to level 15. For epics, I think they go up to level 12, and like, it reduces by 3 levels each time, so you can do the math yourself. But me personally, I always put auto sell for commons, rares, epics. I keep legendaries, of course, but these 3 I always have auto sell on. And for the people who are wondering if auto sell actually messes with the artifact milestones, it does not. I've had like auto sell on for a long time, and my artifacts milestones still increase. So yeah, you don't have to worry about that. Alright, and now for another thing that people forget this game has, and that is the skill tree. So after the addition of the brand new slime island, they added the skill tree guy. So if you speak to him, you can upgrade your skill tree with skill tree points, and you might be wondering how you actually get them. So every 250 NPCs you kill give you 1 point, and you might be saying like that is kind of a lot, but I mean, just look at my points. Like, you can do the math, you can times all this by 250, and that's the real number of NPCs I've killed ever since this update was added. So yeah, it will take a little bit of AFKing. I'm not saying it won't, but you're mainly gonna want to go for damage, crit chance, and then luck and health last. At least that's if you want like the highest damage possible. So yeah, that's basically all for this. Alright, and now for auras. So auras got added, and you can spin for them using aura crates right here. They have a very low chance of dropping from NPCs, but overall they're still like AFKable and grindable. To actually see the percentage of auras, so you go to your aura hotbar and you click on it. You can equip visually, or just equip it like just to get the damage buff. So for example, the common aura gives a 5% damage buff. For the uncommon, it gives a 7.5. For the, I think, what is this, like rare? For the rare, it gives a 10%. And for the epic, which I do not have, if you click on it, you'll find that it gives a 12.5%. And legendary gives a 15% damage buff. And legendary, as of right now, is the highest rarity. And may God forgive them if they ever add a mythic, because let's be honest, not a lot of people will be getting that. Alright, so after you've secured yourself everything I talked about up until now, you're gonna want to get yourself a rune. So if you go to the dungeons guy and go to the runes dungeon, each NPC you kill has a chance to drop a rune. Of course, the difficulty does change the like the chance. So if you go to your inventory and scroll and go to rune section, you'll find that this game has a pretty good amount of runes. And to actually like max level your runes, so if you go back to your inventory and click on the question marks, scroll down, you'll find the rune section. So to max it out, each rune you obtain counts as 1 XP, so you'll have to get a pretty good amount. I think I've read that to actually max out your runes, you're gonna need somewhere around 300 runes, something like that. So yeah, good luck grinding that. But basically, the best runes as of right now are Wrath Rune and Destruction Rune. So I'll start with Destruction Rune. Destruction Rune gives a, with maxed out level of course, gives a 37% damage buff, or 1.37x multiplier, depending on which one you want to use. And of course, the Wrath Rune has a higher like damage percentage, so it gives a 59% damage buff, way crazier than the Destruction Rune. But yeah, that's basically all for runes. They're pretty strong, I'm not gonna lie, so you might have to copy yourself one of those. And now I'll move on to the last thing I need to talk about. Alright, so after they added the brand new update, they gave us the boss rush upgrades, which actually, some people think that the damage here only applies to the raid, but no, it actually applies to everything. So yeah, basically, these upgrades you can upgrade using the boss rush, or the rush coins they call them. And to get them, of course, you just have to do the raid. I personally just AFK it. I haven't been playing the game a lot, since that's why I don't have a lot of points. But I made a video on how to AFK for the people who want it, so I'll leave a link in the description. But yeah, basically, these upgrades are pretty crazy. You can get up to like each percent increases it by plus 5%. So 5 times 5 is like a 25% damage overall. For crit damage, that's like what, a 15%, and for crit chance 2 times 5 or 1, only by 1. Damn. So it is a 5% in the final one, and then you can like move on to luck and HP later on. So yeah, this one I would say is the most expensive and the most end game one out of everything I've like talked about. So yeah, that's basically gonna be all for the video. Something else I completely forgot to mention. You can go up to Ascension 5 for like a plus 10% cooldown reduction. So that technically also increases your DPS. So yeah, that's basically gonna be all for the video. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed. If you found this useful, please do like and subscribe, it helps me out a ton. And without further ado, I'm out.